Alright, the first thing I did in the challenge of getting everything in one seamless playthrough was I utilized the Blessing of the Monk and drafted the antechamber outside based on the uh, picture drawn in the diary of her Baroness. You pick up the piece of paper there and it says, "So close yet so far away." And so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the lever that would release the north door in the antechamber. I do that by going into the inner sanctum area and pulling the lever there, and it shows on screen the antechamber door being opened that is the north door. And so I'm going to go check out and see what it did to the antechamber that is in the outer room. And so I'm going to run all the way back there, and when I get there, I will see what happened. In the meantime, I'm doing a couple drafts in the house on the way. Now that I've gotten some of my drafting out of the way, it's time to go check out and see what happened with the antechamber outside. As I walk in, I can see that the door is open and there is a shrine or two shrines behind there. And there's a card inside of the shrine and it says, "Steady is the scepter, deadly is the stone, heavy is the crown, ready is the throne." And so that is what we have to do in order to reclaim the throne. We must have the deadly stone, the blue scepter, and the blue crown. I finally get the treasure trove, and so now I am ready to call it a day. So I call it a day in the treasure trove. The next step that I have to do is I have to get the cursed coffers. The way that you get the cursed coffers is by reading the book in the library, The Curse of the Black Bridge. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the Curse of the Black Bridge. And so I didn't get it on this day. And so because I didn't get it, I go out to the outer room and I keep the treasure trove out there. So what I'm doing is I now have the book. I've read the book, and now that I've read the book, I'm going to come outside. I'm going to call it a day again in the shrine or in the treasure trove. And so now I believe I have everything set up for the getting the scepter. Step 1 of getting the scepter is you must have the sign of the cross as the only active constellation in the sky. And so as you can see, I have multiple constellations here, but the one that looks like having a 4 stars around it with 1 star in the middle is the sign of the cross. And so I'm going to click on that and activate the sign of the cross. And now with the sign of the cross activated, I'm ready to go to step 2. Step 2 is you have to get rid of all of your resources. And so what that means is you can't have any gold, you can't have any gems, any keys, any dice, anything in your inventory. You can't have anything. So what I am trying to do is spend my last gem, and I am able to do that with the kitchen here. And so now the next step in the process is to go down and wait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the clock here and I see that it is sweet. It is 8:20. I have to wait from 8:20 until 1:30 in game time. As we know about blueprints, 1:30 is a sacred time. A lot of the clocks in the game are set at 1:30 and don't move off of 1:30. So you go into the underground area where the chessboard is, and after you have done the castle move, which is if you are a king and then switch over to a rook, or a rook and then switch over to the king, it will perform a castle move, and it will allow this lower area to be unlocked. While I was sitting there doing a whole lot of nothing, I looked at all of my previous builds, and I was trying to figure out what kind of builds I was getting. While you're sitting down here at 1:30, there will be a sound that happens, and when that sound happens, this tomb will rise up. So I move around a little bit, and sure enough, there it is. So once this is risen, you can see that it's a clock, and the clock is set to 1:30. And so what you have to do is you have to move the hands of the clock to 3 separate times. The first time is 109, and then you press the button. Then the next one is 115, and you press the button. And then the last number, you have to go counterclockwise to the word east, which is 1226. So again, that's 109 to 115, and then counterclockwise to 1226. Doing so will open up and give you the key of Ares. The key of Ares will now be able to unlock the chest in the treasure trove, but only if that chest is out in the outer room. So what I'm trying to do now is I need to draft the treasure trove outside. In order to draft the treasure trove, you must have 1 gem. I didn't have any gems, so I do the parlor room here. And even with 2 parlor keys, meaning I have a 2 out of 3 chance to get it, I miss them both. I do bunk room hoping that there are some gems in there, and no. I do weight room and lose half my steps, and no. I keep drafting and I keep trying, and I still do not have any gems. Finally, I draft the study and I have 1 gem. So now I'm able to come out here to the outer room, and I know that the archive plan is the treasure trove because it costs a gem. So I go in there. Once I'm in here, I see the black chest. I use my black key of Ares, and sure enough, there it is, the royal scepter. I'm going to move the royal scepter color to blue, and if I call it a day in a blue room, I will maintain my scepter. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do at the end of this run. I'm going to call it a day in the pantry, which is a blue room, and I will start the next day with my blue scepter. So what I actually want to do is I want to set myself up for the run where I am going to be going for it all. And so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to draft the freezer so that I can call it a day in the freezer. I wish I would have had more gems. I'm ending this day with 0 gems, so I'm going into tomorrow with no extra gems. So my goal was to set myself up for the following day, but realistically, all I did was give myself a ton of coins. So now we start up the next day, and look at that. The mailroom, my freight shipping has come in. So far, off to a great start. All I need to do now is have some good drafting. I get the weight room here, which is terrible. I do the spiral of the stars, and it says that if you have less than 20 steps, open all antechamber doors. And so I went down to 14 steps, and so it's opening all antechamber doors. But also, it says I cannot gain any steps, gems, or keys, or gold. I only have 40, and so I have to call it a day at that point. I knew that I wouldn't be able to make it to the antechamber and finish everything I wanted to do with 40 steps. And so I call it a day, and here we are trying it again. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to the outer room. Nah, I changed my mind. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to wait on that. Don't forget to pick up this key. And so what I'm trying to do now is I am trying to secure a route to the antechamber, because that is one of the necessary steps to doing this, is you have to have the blue crown. And the only way to get the blue crown is by going into room 46 in the antechamber. So now I'm going to go out to the outer room, and I'm going to draft the shrine. The reason why we need to have the shrine is because we need to be able to get the cursed coffers and what is inside of the cursed coffers. The thing inside of the cursed coffers is the deadly stone. In order to draft the throne room, I put my banner of the king to black. The throne room is a black room, and so I'm much more likely now to draft black rooms, which there's only a handful. I also in this need a sledgehammer to break the cursed coffers open, and so I get that in courtyard. Here in the foundation, I get the throne room, and it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps away from the entrance hall, and so I should be just fine on that. It's not going to be a problem. While in the throne room, don't forget, pull the lever behind the throne, and that will open up the north antechamber door. So now you have a route to room 46 without having to go underground and pull that lever. So now I'm looking and making sure I have my sledgehammer and I have my blue scepter. Now all I need is the crown, and then I'll go and get the cursed stone. So I'm just continuing drafting now, trying to figure out a route to the antechamber. And so far, nothing is coming up. I'm not getting the secret garden key. I'm not getting Great Hall. I'm not getting anything that is a route to the antechamber. And so I'm a little bit nervous about it at this point, but just going to keep on drafting and hope for the best. One of the things I totally forgot was I haven't bought the cursed coffers yet. I still need to buy that so it shows up in the shrine. So now I'm looking for the gift shop. Needed to draft this gift shop because I needed to buy the cursed coffers. Forgot that I hadn't done that yet, and so make sure you buy the cursed coffers. Now that I have the cursed coffers, I need a route to the antechamber. I successfully have a route to the antechamber on the right side, so now I'm looking for Great Hall. Great Hall, the lever in Great Hall will open up to the right side of the antechamber. But speaking of Great Hall, I only have 3 keys at this moment, and so I'm going to need more keys. So I craft the detector shovel, so I should be able to get more keys when I dig. I totally forgot that there was a watering can in there. If I would have picked up the watering can, I could have gotten myself some extra gems. I'm also nervous about my step situation at this point. I couldn't do garage there even though I'm nervous about keys because it would be a dead end. What I'm trying to do is get into the antechamber, and I still have the left door available and the south door available. The left door can only be opened with the secret garden, and that's not going to happen. But hey, I get the Great Hall here. But as before when I mentioned, I'm real nervous about my key situation. I'm also real nervous about my step situation. I only have 16 steps, and it looks like after counting it's about 7 steps to get to the dining room. And so I'm real nervous about if I'm going to be able to continue going with the amount of steps that I have. So I only have 2 keys, and I need to open 2 doors. I know that the forward-facing door will take a key. I think about bacon and eggs / breakfast nook here, and it gives me a key. Ultimately, I don't have a good reason as to why I did not take that key. I didn't need the gold, and so I now only have 2 keys left. My first door that I pick, sure enough, has it. And so now the right antechamber door is open. I have the ballroom that is going from the right into the antechamber. I just got to get over there. As mentioned previously, have just a few steps here. I want to make sure I don't go the wrong way. So I need to go into conference room here and go from conference room into the throne room, from the throne room down into the foundation, and keep going forward until I get to my dining room. And I can get some steps once I get to the dining room. As I approach the dining room, I can see that it is the fish tonight. And so when it's the fish, if you have an aquarium, you get a bonus 10 steps. So I get a bonus 10 steps on that because I had the aquarium. I got a salt shaker, so I get an extra 1. The salt shaker is so dumb. It gives you 1 extra step for having the salt shaker. 1 step. That's weak. 1 step is totally weak. So I'm looking here to make sure that I go the right way. While I have 33 steps, it's not going to absolutely guarantee me to get there, especially if I take a wrong route or a wrong turn. So I'm being very cautious and careful and looking at my map, making sure that I don't go the wrong way on my route to the antechamber. Just chugging along now. It's a straight shot up to the library, and then from the library into the ballroom into the antechamber, and now I can get my crown. Now that I have my crown, I just go back in the same route that I went before. Like I said, real nervous about the step situation. I am down to 4 steps, and I make it into the kitchen, and thankfully I'm able to buy some food in the kitchen. On my way out to the shrine now to break the cursed coffers. Once I break the cursed coffers, you can see that there is a deadly stone in there. This is the stone that was referenced on that card and that was referenced at length in the Curse of the Blackbridge book that we read. Now that we are cursed, anytime we draft a yellow, orange, purple, or green room, or red room, it will have a negative effect on us. But not to worry, we've already drafted our house, and all we have left to do now is make it to the throne room. So I have 11 steps left. I am a little nervous about that, but I know that the throne room is just 6 steps up from the entrance hall, and it's just a straight shot, so I don't have to do anything other than just go straight. And so with 5 steps now, I only have 1 step left to get in. And so, just like the note read, steady is the scepter, deadly is the stone, heavy is the crown, ready is the throne. Let's go in and claim what is rightfully ours. And so once we walk into the throne room, a cutscene starts. This was a long process of trying to do it all in one single run, one playthrough. Obviously, I sped up portions of this, but this was my complete run. It was fun doing it. It was challenging, and I made some mistakes along the way. But ultimately, I was successful in getting the scepter. I was also successful in getting the deadly stone. And finally, I was successful in bringing all of that to the throne room to claim the throne. If you enjoyed this video or want more videos like this, subscribe, put something in the comments. I love reading comments about blueprints. I love talking blueprints. I just love blueprints all in all. And so this cutscene was so exciting the first time I saw it. I was just so full of emotion, and just watching it again, I can feel that again. I hope you all feel the same way, and I hope you all keep enjoying these videos, and most importantly, I hope you keep enjoying this brilliant game, Blueprints. So now it is the throne of the blueprints rather than the throne room, and this floor plan has permanently ascended. The next time you draft 8 blueprints in a row, it will permanently unlock all blue sealed doors.